Okay, I'm gonna step through this Flask project. It is Columbia Paper Infinity. When we go to the just slash route, it takes us to this welcome page. When we go to the slash infinity, it takes us to this log sales page. We actually have this header that lets us jump between the two. And that's actually with the layout.html that's right here. Pretty much we define all of the CSS that we're going to use. We have the bootstrap CSS, the main CSS that we use for some of the classes that we define. We use jQuery, and so we use that across the board with this layout as well, some meta tags. And then yeah, we have this container that the block content goes for each page. So for the log sales page, that's like this stuff here. For the welcome page, that's this content right here. So that's the layout. It just kind of provides us a template that we can use across the board for each of the pages. That's really nice. We can look at this welcome page, and we see that it extends the layout.html, and so that's how we get the header right here. That includes the hyperlinks, and we can actually see that right here, right? Those are the hyperlinks there. And so we do that, and then we just have the actual block content that just says welcome to Columbia Paper Infinity, remember to log all your sales. We don't really style it, we just put it there. The bulk of this project really takes place in this log sales page, and this was a lot like the previous kind of sales management page that we had made, but the key difference is when we delete stuff and then we refresh the page, that change actually persists. Whereas in the last project it would just reset. This persists, and that's really cool. And so if I put something in like let's say pretzel guy, we'll say we sold him 20 reams, we submit that, and then we like refresh this, also that will persist, and so that's really cool. So we put all of our CSS in this main.css. We just have different things like for the sales record. This is all very similar to kind of the last project that we looked at. All of the JavaScript goes in here, logsales.js. We can see right here where we include that. That's this line right here. And the bulk of the logic really takes place there. Essentially, the server sends two variables. Let's take a look at the server because we haven't actually really done that yet. We see the home page, we render welcome.html. With the infinity page, we render logsales.html, and we also send two variables. We send the sales and we send the clients. And this is the way that the log sales page is actually able to access these data structures. For example, if I go to the JavaScript page, or rather the JavaScript file, we don't actually have any persistent variables in here that store those two data structures. All we're doing is modifying the structures that are sent to us. And we're not even modifying them. We're just rendering them, and then when we want to modify them, we send them back to the server to be modified. And so the server sends those variables. The logsales.html page reads in those variables in the script tag. We can see that right, logsales.html, I'm in the right spot, right here, right? We get the sales as a JSON, we parse it, and we just do that right here. We do the same with the clients. And so now we've actually received that data from the server. We can see that we initially define everything right here in the server. We have the current ID. We don't pass that at all. This just stays in the server side. We have our sales and we have our clients right here, and that's what's passed. We again read those in a script tag in the logsales.html. And as we mentioned, we don't actually define those variables in any way here. We just use what's passed in with the server. Very cool. We showed the variables that store the data in the server. So in the logsales.js, we pretty much have three main functions. The main one is to display the sales list, and that's right here. So pretty much we pass in the sales as a parameter here, and then we iterate over each sale. We pretty much get the record ID. We set the record ID if needed. We set the HTML for this, and so we set it as because we want it to line up, right? If we jump back here, we can see how it lines up like this. We do that with bootstrap columns. And so yeah, we set all that up, and then with the delete button, we associate that with the sale ID so that when we delete it, we just pass the ID, and we'll see how that works. And so this just displays everything that's present in the sales list that's passed in. We have another function called save sale, and what this does is we pass in the new sale, and then it just sends it back to the server, and then the server actually deals with that. It appends it to the list, and then it sends it back with the updated list, and then we display that updated list, and we actually add it to autocomplete, where if I search here and I start typing pretzel guy, we see that that shows up now, and so that's really cool. Finally, we have the delete sale, which is pretty much the opposite of the save sale, obviously. The key idea here is we actually just put an ID, and we send that ID to the server, and then when the server gets it, it deletes it based off the index. It sends back the updated list. So response.sales we then render with display sales list, which then renders the list with that index removed. And then yeah, that's delete sale. And then we also have this, when the document is ready, we do all of this stuff. So obviously we want to display the sales. We want to do the autocomplete. We want to allow, right, and this is all very similar to the last time. When they press enter on the reams, it wants to submit. So right, obviously if I do like pretzel, if I try to submit now, it's not going to let me, right? So 2, we still have all of the other error checking, right? So if I go like that, that's not going to work. So very cool. You know, I can delete these guys. Very cool. And so pretty much, you know, we do a lot of this stuff. This is all very similar. We refocus when we submit a sale. We have the delete button that calls the delete sale. Same with the trash. When we drop it, we call that delete sale function. Obviously, when we add, we call, let me find it here, handle save button click. So we call the save button, and then we call save sale right here. So let's actually see when these functions are called, when we call the delete sale and when we call the save sale and it interacts with the server. Let's actually see how that works. We do that as opposed to the get route. We use a post route for the server for those methods. And so for save sale, obviously the way that this works is we kind of set up the data structure for that new sale with the ID, the salesperson, the client, and the reams. We insert the new sale at the top because we always want the new sale to show up at the top right here. We add the client if we need to, right? If the client didn't exist before, we want to add it to the autocomplete later. And we do that right here where we add it to the autocomplete if we need to. And so we update the client list in order to do that. And then we just return the updated sales and the updated clients. The delete sales works in a very similar way. Pretty much we get the ID that's passed in. If an ID isn't provided, we just return an error. Otherwise, we filter out the sale that has the matching ID. We update the list by removing it, and then we just send that list back. And then we just render that. And we can see it right here. We rendered the updated list. And that's really the bulk of this program. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I guess we didn't really look at the main.css. Doesn't really matter. Error is red, right? We use that, so like we can see that redness there. Obviously, you know, just like in the other one, we had like the client error and the reams error, and that's just like right here and right here. Excuse me. Yep, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So this has been the Flask project for the Columbia paper. Yeah.